Welcome to Trucking with Liberty. Making this a live show, but this will probably be chopped up and made into a video. But today I was wanting to shoot. Hang on. Let's mute that. I was wanting to discuss discounts. So, over the past month or two, I've been considering what other fuel efficient things I could do to get even better fuel economy, save more money. And I've been going back and forth, and I'm not sold on it yet, but I am going to experiment with something. I'm going to experiment with super singles. We'll see how it goes, but one thing that I am afraid of is blowing one of them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on the drives first, and then trailer shortly after. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get gear to where if I do have a blowout, I want to have a full spare with a rim already mounted, and I want to get something that attaches to the bottom of my trailer that can hold both of that. So if I ever have issues, hopefully it doesn't mess anything else up if it does blow, but as long as it doesn't, I'll just change the tire myself. My plan is to actually get the tools to change it on the side of the road. Don't even have to call anyone to have a road service call. Because my biggest concern with super singles is obviously if you blow one, you're stuck. So that eliminates that. I'm not sure if it's something that I'll do long term. Like I said, this is going to be an experiment. And the biggest reason I'm wanting to experiment with this is I was experimenting with Michelin tires. I got the best Michelin tires as far as lowest rolling resistance that are duals. Not happy with them. The reason I went that route was to save money on fuel. Maybe I did. Those tires, 6 of the 8 tires on my drives are those same Michelin tires. And I did get 10 miles per gallon pretty consistent on my old dedicated run by running. The tires are ate up. They need to be replaced. I mean, they're not completely, they're not illegal yet. There's still some tread left. But I had a drive tire blow on me over a year ago. And when that one blew is when I started looking into replacing all the drive tires. Well, when it blew, I had 2 tires replaced. The road service guy, how'd that work? No, I think the road service guy, I'm trying to remember how that worked. But either way, somehow I ended up with 2 new drive tires. I must have bought 2. It's been a little while, so I can't remember. But I got 2 new drive tires, and I believe they're Yokohamas. And they have a lot of tread left, and they're over a year old. Yeah, I probably got them a month before all the Michelins. And shoot, it's got deep tread yet. I mean, the Michelins, they're getting to where I need to replace them within the next month. And these Yokohamas, they still got a lot of life left. So obviously I'll save those, and I'll probably just get some credit for the Michelins. But that had me thinking about just going to super singles, because I don't live in a place that has a lot of mountains. I'll keep the duals, and I'll keep the rims, obviously. I'll keep the duals. And in the wintertime, if traction becomes an issue, because that's the other thing I'm concerned about with the super singles, if traction becomes an issue, I'll just throw, at least on the drives for the tractor, I'll just throw the duals back on if it becomes an issue in the wintertime. But in the summer, I don't know. Other than blowouts, which granted I've never driven with super singles, but I see a whole lot of debris from blowouts from just retreaded tires that are duals versus super singles. So I don't know if the concern with really blowouts is that much of a concern. I know one other concern there is with super singles would be if you curb it or turn too tight with the super singles on the trailer. I've heard that could damage those, whereas if you got duals, you got more flexibility to where, like, if you jackknife it trying to back somewhere, it's not as much of an issue. Like, you don't got to worry about, I don't know if it becomes misformed or if you got the worry of it coming off the rim. Obviously with duals, you could jackknife it if you got to get in a tight spot and there's no issues. So that's what I'm thinking. But let's get into the point of the video. That's kind of sidetracked already. But the point of the video is, and I see you in here, CB. Nice to see you. The point of the video is discounts. I don't know how many of you will have good discount programs. I'm sure everyone does, or that might just be me. But I'll tell you, when it comes to fuel, I got 4 discount programs, and I've used all 4. There's 2 that I've used the most. Last year, I signed up for Mudflap, and I don't got the code down there. Mudflap, I've been very happy with. I've been using them probably the most out of the 4 fuel programs I got, fuel discount programs. And I've been saving a lot of money using Mudflap. Very happy with them. The other one I've been using, which I don't know why, the other people I see on YouTube that do trucking videos, they don't really seem to talk about it. And if they do, maybe I'm just missing it. But Truck Smarter, they also got good discount programs. There's some truck stops that Truck Smarter is used at that Mudflap is not. And I've come across many times where Truck Smarter actually beats Mudflap. Granted, most of the time, Mudflap does win. Now, the other 2, I'm not as big on, but they do on occasion save you more money. The 2 things that I like about Mudflap and Truck Smarter the most, you can lock in the rate. So say I'm at home or on another load, but I know I'm going to need fuel in the next 24 hours. I can go on both of the apps and look at the route, look at all the truck stops that are on there at the current price. If I like it and it's going to work, I can lock in the rate. You could say fuel dropped and you get it cheaper. You could cancel the code. I don't do this. I don't know. You could, but I don't do this. But you could cancel the code, get a new code, and get it at the lower price. Either way, they lock in your rate once you get the code for 24 hours on both the apps. Truck Smarter actually shows you it. Mudflap, you just got to know it's good for 24 hours. So if the price goes up, you still get it at whatever price you locked it in at when you got the code. I don't know if they changed it on Mudflap. Before on Mudflap, they said that do not get the code until you're at the truck stop. You can get it ahead of time. And I would recommend that. That way, if the price does go up, you're locked in at the price that you agreed to when you got the code. That's the reason I like Truck Smarter and Mudflap the most out of my fuel discount programs. I do have a fuel card. It's a TCS. It's somewhere in my billfold. That's how rare I use it. That used to be my primary one. Last year, I used TCS the most, but as Mudflap has gotten more truck stop, they've actually been beating the fuel card that I have. Maybe the fuel card I have is not that great in my area anymore, but I looked on my fuel purchases for all of last year, and there was one truck stop that I got fueled the most at, and that it used to be always Mudflap, but I used to also get fuel at a truck stop right across the street that's TA, and that would be TCS. And there used to be, just depending on the day, TCS would beat Mudflap, Mudflap would beat TCS. The thing I don't like, and this is the only drawback I will say about TCS, the thing I don't like about them is you can't lock in the rate, and now they've even changed it to where when you look at the app, the TCS app, it doesn't even tell you the real price that you're going to be paying. It actually gives you a warning. Last time I used it, at least I believe it was the last time, I got fuel. It said it was one price, and whenever I did the calculation to see how much I actually paid per gallon, because it doesn't even tell you how much you paid per gallon, it just tells you how much your discount was, and like I think my discount was like $20 off, and you have to do the math between the total you paid and how many gallons to figure out how much you paid per gallon. And granted, in my case, that time, it ended up being 2 cents less per gallon than what they said it was going to be on the app. But what I do like about TCS, and something that I don't like about other fuel cards, which is why I haven't tried some other fuel cards, I don't like credit. You might think that's weird. That's just a personal belief I have. I don't like credit because I think of credit like a snake. Like, I hate credit so much that it took me a full year before I even got a credit card for the business. And the only reason I got the credit card for the business is because I found out about the cash back. I'll even tell you what credit card I have. I have a Capital One Spark Business credit card. It gets 1.5% cash back anytime you use it on anything. Like, if you use it, you get 1.5% cash back. So I've gotten over $1,000 in cash back on it, but you got to make sure you pay it. I'm over the top. I'll pay it probably 2 or 3 times a week, just so there's no chance I'm going to have a balance at the end of the month and rack up those interest rate and late fees. But I've been happy with that. That's the only credit card I'm going to get unless I upgrade it to, I think they got a 2% cash back now. But other than that, I'm not getting another credit card. I do not want a fuel card that has a credit line, and that seems to be harder to find. I know there was one that, I think it was TVS Pro Driver. Whenever I talked to the guy, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I misunderstood, but it sounded like you couldn't get the fuel card without the credit line. So that was a no-go for me at the time. I do like their violation plan, and I think you can sign up for that without the fuel discounts, so there's no credit line obviously on that. But I'll be honest, I've not gotten a ticket, and as soon as I say it, I'm going to get one tomorrow. Just watch. But I haven't got a ticket. Well, I haven't got a ticket in a semi ever, and I've been driving since 2011. I haven't been involved in an accident that was my fault in any way. The last accident I was in a semi, there was a semi in the slow lane. I was in the fast lane. The slow lane ended, and he merged over before he cleared my truck. But that was back when I was a company driver. And there was no question. Like, the guy actually ran. He knew he hit me. I saw him in the mirror. He was staring while he's scraping the side of the truck with his trailer, but he just ran. And the other accident I was in is a teenage girl, well, college-age girl. She was getting on the interstate, and there was a tanker passing me in the left lane. I was in the right lane. She's on an on-ramp trying to merge over. And she just didn't look. I even honked, like, as she was getting over. She didn't look. She just smacked. I pitted her, literally was pushing her down the interstate just for a bit, and then I hit the brakes really hard. Obviously, she thankfully straightened back out. And wow, that was pretty intense. That was back when I was like 23 or 22. But other than that, I've never had an accident or that was my fault, preventable, whatever you would call it. And I've not had a violation or ticket in a semi. Well, I've had a violation when I was brand new, a month into it. I forgot to put a fuel cap back on the fuel tank. Even though I still wonder to this day if I actually did put it on, and the DOT officer was just mad at me because I kind of got into it with her. I kind of wonder if she might have unscrewed it, but I might have forgot to put it on. It was my first month driving on my own, so I could have. But me and her got into it because this is back when they had all that flooding in Missouri, Iowa, and Nebraska. The Missouri River was flooding to almost historic levels, like 93. And she was standing in the middle of a 2-lane highway with the sun setting behind her. And I did not see her until I was right up on her. And she's directing all these trucks into this shoulder area where they could do inspections, because since I-29 was closed, their scale house had to be closed. So they were doing inspections off this state highway that was an alternate route for I-29. So I don't know. I probably did forget to put the fuel cap back on, but that was the only violation I've ever gotten in my career. And to this day, I do kind of wonder if she just unscrewed it because I was kind of giving her lip about how I couldn't see her in the middle of the road with the sun setting behind her. She was pretty upset with me for that. But irregardless, that's the only violation I ever got. I've been through many inspections, passed every time. But so the other two fuel discount programs, Trucker Path and Relay. Trucker Path, they do let you lock in ahead of time. First time I used them, whenever you reserve it, you have to say how many gallons you're getting. Well, how do you know? Like, I put in 80. The truck ended up needing 100. So I got 80 at the rate I agreed to. And another 20, I had to go in and get a new code on the app, and it ended up being like 20 cents more. So, I don't know. I don't like that. Figured out if you use Trucker Path, overestimate. You don't get, say you're going to get 160 gallons and you end up getting 140. You'll get reimbursed whatever, like, or not reimbursed. You won't even get charged. You'll only get charged the amount you put in, but it'll lock it in for, say it's $3 a gallon, whatever, 160 times 3. It'll lock it in for that dollar amount whenever you reserve the code. Trucker Path, I've used once, and it was that one time, just because it left a kind of a sour taste in my mouth. Having to get 2 codes, and then the second code ended up being 20 cents more per gallon. I don't know. But Trucker Path, that's another one. The third one's Relay. I've used them once as well. You cannot lock in ahead of time, but they will tell you what the discount is to the 10th of a cent. Actually, I think it's the 100th of a cent. So I've used them once, and it was actually at the Sapp Brothers on I-49 just south of Kansas City. I think it might be Harrisonville where they're at. I could be wrong, but it's just south of Kansas City on I-49. So those are the 5 different fuel discount programs. I see some comments backing up. I'll get through these comments, and then I'll get to the next thing I want to talk about. If you want a sneak peek, it's this. But I'll discuss that here in a minute. CB, I agree 100% on not using credit. Yeah, that's it. I used to listen to a lot of Dave Ramsey. I still like Dave Ramsey. But he started talking about, what was that company? It was some, timeshare exit team. That's what it was. Now he's got a huge lawsuit against him because he was promoting them. He kind of left the sour taste in my mouth. I'm against timeshares too, but he was promoting this company so much when I stopped listening to him. It seemed like it was over the top. And then come to find out he's getting sued because that company actually didn't do what they said they were going to. It ended up charging people to get them out of timeshares and never got them out. Yeah, it's a mess. But CB, I'll eat dirt and drink pond water before I spend money that ain't mine. That's what I agree with too. And that's a reason why I don't care much for factoring. There's a purpose for it. I'm not saying anything negative against people that want to use factoring, but it's not for me. At least not at this stage of my company. Sterling Will, I'm here to start over. You didn't miss much, trust me. I've never had an accident and eliminate all the witnesses. I like that. I like that. CB, always keep a shovel in the side box. That's pretty good. Sterling, as a motorcycle rider, I hate fuel spills. I bet you also hate grass clippings right in the middle of the road that people spray in the road when they're cutting grass too. I've heard those are worse than ice on the road for a motorcycle. My name is Nobody. Good evening. Nice to see you in here. I think this is the first time I've seen you in one of the lives. Granted, I've not done very many. CB, admit nothing done. Blame everything on the deep state Russians or aliens. There's a lot of truth to that. You know what? I'll go ahead and get into the Fuelox. You see the promo code at the bottom. I don't have a promo code with them. Even if I did, I'd still be promoting DIYs. Fuelox. I track all my fuel expenses, my fuel economy. I made that spreadsheet, which I need to update, but it's in one of my older videos for fuel economy for the DEF and for just regular diesel. Since I started using Fuelox, which is over a year ago by this point, there is a noticeable difference in the consumption of DEF. I don't use nearly as much DEF as I had in the past. Like, I could show you on the spreadsheet. I'm not at home right now, so I don't have access to the spreadsheet. But I've had nothing but positive things from the Fuelox. They also got liquid friction eliminator, which I think is the grease. And they also got one in a spray bottle. I was kind of leery about the one in a spray bottle. But then I had this nut that was just seized on. I kid you not. I sprayed that stuff. I used WD-40 first. Didn't do anything. Let it dry. Came back to it like a day later. I can't even remember what it was stuck on. It was like rusted together. I sprayed that liquid friction eliminator spray or whatever it's called. It came off. It was a little tough to get off. But like this other one, I was going to break the threads and the thing that was seized on. I sprayed that stuff, waited a few minutes, and it was a little tight or hard to get off, but it didn't break anything. I got it off. I couldn't get it off at all with the WD-40 or without anything. But once I got that, in comparison, it was pretty easy to get off. So that sold me on it. They say you can spray it on your fifth wheel. I tried that. It runs off. The salesman that I talked to said, oh, don't worry about it. It's still, the stuff, it's still doing its job. I prefer just using the grease right on the fifth wheel. I haven't had issues with it. It seems to last a long time, too. What is it? I'm probably mispronouncing that. Oscar DM. Fuelox is money well spent. Yeah, I haven't had any complaints with them. They got quite the lineup of stuff, too. And I know they even got stuff for, I forget what they call it, whenever your fuel or oil separator for the fuel or whatever, if that turns black, they got a product that even is able to get rid of that and treat it. They got a whole lineup, and even stuff that's not for trucking. I haven't had any issues with them. I even use the stuff that goes in the oil. I did get a high reading on some metals the first cycle I did that, and I asked I don't know if he's the founder or owner, but he was in one of DIY's lives. I posed that question because I always do an oil analysis after every cycle, at least the ones I change. And this is also part of the reason I changed my own oil. The shop, I used to have shops change my own oil. I've only got them to collect oil one time. And it's probably been 3 or 4 oil changes that I've actually had someone else change oil. One was by Cummins, and one was by a third-party mechanic shop that's local to my area. And the local mechanic shop collected the oil one time. Cummins forgot, and that local shop forgot the other 2 times. So that's another reason why I changed my own oil. I'm not 100% sure if you really save a whole lot of money by doing it yourself, but I like it just, even if it doesn't really save money, it has to save some money. But even if it doesn't save money, I know it's done right. I know it's got the Fuelox stuff in that I want, which the other shops will not put in. That's just out of the question. Whenever I had my drive axle oil changed, even TA wouldn't put that stuff in. I told them, look, how about this? I'll go out there, I'll put it in myself while you're putting the new oil in. And so it's in there. But that's why I change oil myself. But Fuelox, I'm a huge fan of. If you order stuff, do not order it from the salesman. Order it online on that code at the bottom, down there. Use that DIY semi code. You'll get a good discount. Yeah, you can save $1 or $2 if you go through the salesman. I did that once. But then you got 2 issues. One, you got the salesman calling you every month, I found out. It's one reason why I stopped doing it. But the biggest reason why, 2, DIY does get a kickback on that. I'd prefer to spend literally, it was just $1 or $2 difference between going through the salesman or using his code. And you can use his code online. It's easy, right at the checkout. Save a lot of money on it. Use his code if you get Fuelox. And then get this stuff. Like, if nothing else, I get it in the half-gallon jug. Kid you not. And then I just fill these up. This is just an empty one. Want to fill up. And I would recommend keeping it in a bag if you refill it. Probably need to order a new one, because these do leak after time. Keep it upright, somewhere where it'll stay upright in your truck. I got a little spot in the door where it will not fall over, or at least it hasn't yet, and I've been doing this for a year now with the Fuelox. Get it in there, keep it in that bag. That way, if it does, it's going to fall in that bag. Keep the bag zipped up. It won't come into the truck. It happened in this one, fell over, and it just leaked out. Even with it sealed, like these are sealed tight, it still leaks out. I don't know what the stuff is in it, but it will leak out if it falls over. Unless you haven't peeled off. Let's see. Yeah. If you haven't peeled that off, it won't leak. If that's peeled off and the only thing holding it is the cap, it'll leak through. I found that out, trust me. Then your truck's going to smell like Fuelox for like 6 months. Don't ask how I know. Irregardless, Fuelox, I recommend it. It took me almost a year to get to the point where I felt comfortable talking about it. But every product I've used for them, it works. I use the grease and all over the truck and trailer for all the grease fittings. I mean, if there's a product they sell for the truck, I most likely use it. The other discount program I got, which I'm actually looking into, I probably don't have a good salesman, but unfortunately you can't switch the salesman for this program. It's CR England tire discount program. They only do tires, I found out. At least that's what the rep said that I have. So all my tires I get through them, you could pay ACH, credit, debit, or you could even send in a check. They don't like the check part. But if you know you're going to get tires ahead of time, you could actually send a check ahead of time. Then you'll have a little account, kind of like I have on the TCS card for fuel. Since I don't use credit, I send them money ahead of time, and I'll have like $1,000 or $2,000 in there. One thing I will say, if you use a fuel card, I don't care which one, I've heard horror stories. If you use a fuel card and you carry a balance on it, like what I'm doing, instead of using credit, it's like a debit card kind of, be very careful about using the card at the pump. I haven't figured out how to get the TA app to work, so I have to use it at the pump. But if you do, I've heard horror stories where the money gets taken from your account from a card skimmer. So one thing I suggest, don't put a large balance on that. That way, if the money gets taken, you're not out like tens of thousands of dollars. Just have enough to get through the week or something. You could ACH transfer with them, and they get the money into your account within a day or two. So there's no real need to even have a huge balance on the card in the account. But you could also do that with the CR England tire discount. I know I probably saved $100 or $200 a tire last time I got them. Well, I had my steers replaced and got the tires through them. It was like $1,100 for the steers, both, like all together. Which that's probably not bad. I think whenever I was there, it was like $700 or $800 a tire if I would have got it from the tire shop without using CR England. So that's the other discount program. If you're not on the CR England tire program, definitely look into that. Sterling, I had my EFS card cloned. Oh, shoot, that sucks. You might have been the one I heard, because I think it was on one of DIY's lives that he was saying, he wouldn't say who, but he said he knew a driver who had, I thought it was more than what you just said here. They took $6,000 before I could stop it. Yeah, that sucks. That's one of my fears about using the pump, like paying at the pump. I try to do it through the app when I can. I also heard you could go inside. There shouldn't be an issue getting your card cloned inside, but I have heard horror stories where fast food restaurants do it with a credit card. Like, you go to the window at the drive-thru, and the person's swiping your card, but also swiping it down below on a cloner. So you'd be out Sterling. Yeah. Oh, that was you. So you did get the money back. Had to wait 112 days to get the credit back. Okay, I didn't know if you ever got the money back. That's good to know. That sucks. It was 112 days. Like, what is that, 4 months? That sucks. At least you got the money back. I didn't know if you would have got the money back, because you know how fuel cards are, and you don't have any protection. That's one other reason I like the fuel apps. You're never swiping your card. Literally, my card stays in my wallet. I do it through the app. The chance of it getting cloned, it would have to be on the fuel app side. Like, it'd have to be either Truck Smart or Trucker Path. Any of those, it would have to be on their end where it got cloned. It'd be impossible for it to get cloned at the point of purchase. Lost my queue for getting a flatbed because of the money lost. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, Sterling. Yeah, $6,000, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. I actually got more on there than I probably got like $2,000 on my fuel card right now, and that's more than I like. I normally keep only $1,000. One reason I even got $2,000 on there is because I did a run that was going from Missouri to West Virginia, a couple months ago now, probably. And I had like 1,000 in there, but I put another 1,000 in there because I thought I was going to be using the TCS. I ended up not. I ended up using Mudflap or one of the fuel apps to save money. So I got that high balance on there that I really need to use, but they haven't been cheap enough yet. Like, I'm not going to buy fuel for a higher rate. I mean, I'm cheap. If the fuel apps have the cheaper fuel, I'm getting it through the fuel app. I'm not getting it through TCS until that discount is less than what I can get on the fuel app. CB, I had 4,000 borrowed from me by the hottest Latina in South Texas one time. It was kind of sort of worth it. That's good. I don't know if I'd be saying it was worth it, but hey, teachers their own. But those are the discount programs I got for you guys. I am kind of interested in the one, I think it's EFS is what Cash is promoting now. I'll probably look into that one. If it's got a credit only option, like I think it was TVS Pro Driver had for the fuel discount, I won't get it. Because I'm just, if I don't got enough money for the for the fuel, I want the pumps to shut off. I do not want it to go into credit. But I am going to probably look into that EFS because it's got more than just the fuel, kind of like the TVS Pro Driver. The EFS, he was saying, has a tire discount program as well as a repair discount program. So like if you break down and have to use a TA or Loves or something, I guess you get cheaper rates on repairs. I don't know if it's labor rates or whatever. Sterling, I just use a siphon hose now. Solved all my payment discrepancies. Yeah, you could. I know in my truck anyways, and a lot of the newer truck, it might be kind of rough to get that siphon hose down because it's got that little grill right inside unless they got it pumped full of fuel like mine is, so the fuel level is actually above it. Yeah, I guess if you park next to someone overnight, got a real narrow hose, got down through there, just stay there all overnight while the guy's sleeping, you might be able to get quite a bit of fuel. Not recommending it. But I don't know, do you all have any fuel discount or any discounts that you all use? That's kind of why I created this as live, because I'm sure there's plenty of discounts that I don't know about that are available. There was one more. So I live in the state of Missouri. They have these in other states. Not every state has this. No sales tax. Well, shoot, I probably can't show you that because it's already filled out and it's going to show all my info. But all it requires is a form. It's a no sales tax form. If you are a motor carrier, then you get that. If you're an owner-operator, you just fill it out with the carrier's information and you get it. Anytime I get any parts, I get it in Missouri. Tires, there's no sales tax on that. I get anything I can for the truck. And as long as it goes on the truck and is involved with the operation of the truck, there's no sales tax. So no sales tax on oil. Now, if you get a GPS, you got to pay sales tax on that. It's anything that is required for the operation of the truck, which is a lot more than you would think. I save a ton of money on this no sales tax. Obviously not as much as my fuel discounts, but I save a lot of money on it. I bet I save more on the no sales tax than I get the discount for the tires, though. It's possible to get great fuel discounts from angry company drivers, too. They just carry a wine barrel when I really need fuel. Jeez, Sterling. Sterling, really though, I use Mudflap and discount EFS card from OOIDA more than anything else. Probably could have saved a lot more. I've not looked into the OOIDA fuel card. I had OOIDA for the first year, but then I don't know. I wasn't using them much. They don't really have much discounts, and from what I hear, their insurance isn't really competitive compared to what you could get outside of them. And then they started, well, I forget what the issue was, but they started promoting something that I disagreed with through their lobbyist group. I don't know if it was, no, they were against speed limiters. I can't remember what it was now, but it was something that I didn't agree with, so I canceled. Well, I just didn't renew my OOIDA card. I like the idea behind them. I wish there was someone who was more for the small carrier, but so far I haven't found it. OOIDA saved me on insurance because I was flagged as a new carrier, Sterling says. Well, I wonder why you were flagged. I didn't have an issue with insurance whenever I started. I don't know, did you have violations? Well, you said you haven't had accidents. That's weird. Maybe they changed it between the time you were a new carrier and the time I was. But if you all watched, that was probably a live stream. My last live stream, the other way you save money that I probably should have looked at sooner is your insurance cost. I literally saved over $4,000 by just upping my deductibles from $1,000 to $5,000, and also adjust your value of your equipment. My stuff was way too high because whenever I started, it was peak, like COVID. Market was booming. This truck I had cost $60,000. The trailer was $60,000 as well. So I had it insured for that amount. That stuff is not worth that much now. I think I put $30,000 for the truck, $40,000 for the trailer. I also realized that if you put $60,000 for insured value, they'll charge you that. But if something happens to your truck or trailer, whatever you have for that high figure, they're only going to give you market value. They'll charge you for that higher rate, but they are not going to give it to you if you total the thing. Sterling, when I reinstated my authority, I became a new entrant. Oh, well, I guess that's one reason not to suspend it. I've considered that at times. I'll be considering it real hard at the end of the year. I didn't know that flagged you whenever you suspended and reinstated. CB, I tried every cost savings method in the book, but staying on flat ground, off the accelerator, far away from tolls was always the most profitable. Yeah, people wonder why I go short haul. Like, there's no tolls around here other than Kansas. I can't remember the last time I went on the Kansas tollway. Like, literally, if I go to Kansas, it's just barely over the state line. I stay in the Kansas City market for Kansas. So, Sterling, I did keep replacement value high because of the scary times. Well, you might want to look at it. I mean, I'm not saying you have to do this by any means. Do what you think's the best. It probably doesn't hurt to have it higher, but if you don't need it, and to me, I don't need it, I would just want them to pay enough to where I could at least get a down payment on another truck. Because obviously, if I was in the market to buy a truck, I would not buy this truck anyways. It's got too many miles on it to buy as a used truck. Am I wanting to get rid of this truck right now? No. I know the maintenance history. This truck has done me well, and hopefully it continues doing me well. Granted, as soon as the market comes back up, I am going to replace it, but at this moment, I'm keeping this thing. I'm just keeping this thing unless it starts making me pay a lot of money towards it in repairs. Toll roads are engineered to cause more rolling resistance. What? What do you mean by that? Sterling? Toll roads are engineered to cause more rolling resistance. I don't know if you're trying to make a joke or not. It does seem like the road service is different on toll roads. Boy, you probably, now I kind of feel like fate does sometimes with cash and DIY. Are you being serious? Toll roads are engineered to cause more rolling resistance. Well, I guess in the winter that would help. You got to be pulling my leg. Is it really? But anyways, short haul. That's the other one. Oh, you are being serious, Sterling. I got the numbers to prove it. You're serious. I never knew that. Is that just from your experience, like just running and crunching numbers on toll roads versus non-toll roads? The thing I have against toll roads, I wouldn't have a problem paying the dang toll if I didn't have to count it on my IFTA miles. Why in the world is a toll road not considered non-IFTA miles? I already had to pay the toll to get on the road. The government is not maintaining it. It's being maintained through the money they charged us to get on the toll road. So why is the government counting the miles every time we file IFTA? That's one reason I hate toll roads. But you have to go on them on occasion. Like if I go to Topeka, I'll go on the toll road because going outside the toll road, you spend more on fuel than what it costs to go on the toll road. So I don't know. But I've heard some horror stories on, I think it's what is it? The Pennsylvania, or is it the Ohio Turnpike? CB, I believe it, about the toll roads having higher rolling resistance. I don't go on many toll roads, but the road service is different. Class action lawsuit for IFTA. Good idea. I like it. I kid you not. I was about to file my first IFTA return, and I was deducting all the miles for the toll roads, all the miles I had on toll roads, because that first IFTA quarter, I was on toll roads a lot because I was running long when I first got my authority because it was booming. So I was like, here, let's go as far as we can, get as much as I can in a week. But yeah, I don't understand why those miles are counted on IFTA. I like the class action lawsuit idea. I'd sign up for that. Don, using logic in this business will cause mental illnesses. CB, I agree. Yes, it does. Like, there's so many things I can think of right now. So the other topic, if there were going to be people in here, I was going to end it earlier, but since we got some people in here, I did also want to talk about short haul. So I've heard several people say, like, either to me directly or indirectly, say that short haul is not worth it. Why in the world would you do short haul? If you're only getting like $2 or $2.50 a mile, and I run dry van, as you all probably know. Why would you do a short haul when you could go run across the country, make $2 a mile or so, and make more in revenue? Okay, so I got two main reasons why I do short haul. One, I don't want to put miles on the truck. The truck has a life cycle. Eventually, this truck will wear out. The engine will go. It happens to every truck. I do not want it to happen while we're in this market. So by doing short haul, I'm spending more time at docks and less time on the roads. I'm fine with that. I got a battery APU, which I'm going to talk about here in a second because just to remind me if I forget. I need to talk about my battery APU. But I got a battery APU. Don't burn any diesel sitting. I got an air conditioner in the truck that hooks up to the battery APU, so I stay plenty cool while I sit. The second reason why is I'm spending less than fuel, obviously. If I'm running shorter, I'm going to spend less than fuel. Fuel's at $4 a gallon now, on average. I got it for $3.79 on Mudflap today. I'm up here in Iowa today. I got it for $3.79 a gallon, and that was the cheapest The rest of them are like $3.80, $3.90 a gallon. So it's basically $4 a gallon, even in the Midwest. Don't get me started on fuel prices. I don't understand it. Cash thinks it's because of the credit or what is interest rates. Interest rates going up by the government. That could be it. I don't know. It just does not make sense to me why it's going up. But short haul, I spend less on fuel. I spend less on fuel, less wear and tear on the truck. And the second reason, I'm getting to know these customers. And that's the biggest thing. I can't get you started. I can't even get started on how much I value relationships. I firmly believe the relationships I'm developing with these shippers, receivers I go to at least every week, because I typically go to the same shippers and receivers very often. A lot of times I go to them 2 or 3 times a week. So by creating that relationship, hopefully one day I find a way to work my way in there to be a direct carrier. And some I figured out are opposed to this. I also think there's a value in broker relationships. Yeah, I'm trying to take that broker for all he can, and the broker's trying to do that with me too. Yeah, maybe I'm a cheap carrier. I don't know. That's kind of, to me, getting in the weeds. I value future loads highly. By servicing these brokers, like not having any issues, not breaking down, showing up on time, getting the job done, communicating. They put me on a mailing list. They actually call me whenever these loads are available. Like I got an email just while I was headed over to this shipper. Hey, are you going to be in the area on next Tuesday? I got another load if you are. So that's something that I'll have to work with, figure out either me or Snorlord if we can find a load to get back to that customer so I could do that load for them again. I value that a lot more than hitting a home run on every load. I could get these loads for more. I get the loads I get. I rarely get one for $1,000 a load. Occasionally I do. Most time they're $600, $700, $800 a load. But guess what? That's fine. One thing that surprised me, I was talking to someone. I won't say who. I was talking to someone on the phone. It brought up to me that there's a lot of carriers who, if they were grossing what I was grossing a week, would be out of business. And here I'm fine. That's 2 big reasons why I like the short haul. There's a third one that I just thought of. I like being home. Not because I'm lazy, but I got 4 kids at home. I want to be home as much as I can to see them grow up. I don't want to be that's gone 2-3 weeks at a time and all he sees his family, even if it's for a week at a time on his off time. I'd rather be home every day or nearly every day like I am now doing short haul than long haul. So I'm a big believer in short haul. I have the blessing of having a really good market that I work out of. I'm out of Missouri. I'm able to get these loads, and I truly believe I'm getting these loads for more than what someone who did not have these relationships with the brokers could get them for. Like, I don't know, like the load I got, granted, it's only going probably 200 miles. I got it for over $3 a mile. I don't know. Maybe some could do better than that. I'm happy with it though. I'm getting, well, I'll just say this. I could get 210, 220 a mile to go up to Iowa, and then I could get like 250 or 3 to go back down to Missouri. To me, that's enough. Every person's different. Cash made a video about it today, and I was going to talk about it anyways. It kind of stole my thunder because he actually probably put it even more elegantly than I could have. But go through your business. I did this months ago when this market started taking. Go through your business. Cut everything you don't need. Like, I got mine down to the minimums. And somehow, like, I'm more profitable this year than I was last year. I kid you not. I'm even to the point where I'm tempted to pay off either the truck or trailer, but I'd rather have that cash emergency fund instead of paying off anything, just in case. But that's my spiel on short haul. Like I said, everyone's different. Do what you want to do. But for me, I like the short haul. I'd rather spend more time at docks than on the road. I love to drive, but in all honesty, I'm kind of like Fate. Like 400 miles a day, that's what I like. I don't care much for 600 miles a day. Sterling, short haul versus long haul is balance of home time and sanity. Long haul is a tool of desperation or team running. I kind of believe in that too. Like, I loved long haul when I was over the road back in 2011. But back in 2011, I had no kids, I had no wife. It was just me. Like, I had just started trucking. I loved long haul. Dude, I was taking my time off in different states when I was long haul. I don't know, but if you got a family, it's really hard to do long haul, in my opinion. Sterling, I'll never forget this saying. I don't want your money, I want your business. Yes, that's exactly what I'm in it for. In fact, I haven't started the course yet, but I signed up for the course for Paul. He comes on DIY semis lives every couple months or so. I signed up for his course, his sales course, so I'll talk about that once I get it completed. But I'll be honest, I've been so busy, I haven't even got a chance to start the thing yet. That's also why I haven't made any videos here lately. I don't have a laptop. I was about this close to buying a laptop a few weeks ago. And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I don't even want to spend $1,000 or $2,000 on a laptop, because I'd rather have that money in the emergency fund just in case. Because it seems like when this truck breaks, it's expensive. The clutch breaks, $5,000. What was it? It was some fuel, something in the fuel system broke, and that was $5,000. That was a year and a half ago. But I don't know. I'm keeping that money in that account because I definitely want to have a pretty decent sized emergency fund just in case. Sterling, laptop will consume your time as well. You know, in all honesty, I need something to consume my time while I'm at the dock, though. Like, I couldn't imagine how many videos I could put out if I had a dang laptop that could render the videos and I could edit them while I'm sitting at these docks. Like, tonight, I am. It is 6:46 here. I was already told I'm not going to be putting a dock till 10 o'clock tonight. So, yeah, that's drawback of short haul, I suppose. I'm taking a 7-hour break. So, I'll just split break it. Not a big deal. And I'll be home. This one delivers anytime between, 7 and 1500 tomorrow. So, I'll get home under this and deliver it next day. And then I pick up the load and hold it over the weekend. So, I'll be home most of the day tomorrow. Once I finally get home after being loaded, it'll be a while. Probably get home. I'm 3 hours from the house now, or so, 4 hours. So I'll get home right before daybreak, probably. But it's all right. I'm getting used to this. CB, long haul wouldn't exist if it wasn't for single middle-aged lunatics like me. Hey, if I was single, I'd be all for it. Shoot, I'm all for it. Sell a house, sell everything. If it was me, I'd live out of the truck. Dude, I couldn't imagine how much money I could make if I didn't have a family. But I'm happy I got a family. But I did like it when I was single and over the road the first time. Geez, if I would have started my own carrier back then, I probably would have done horrible because I didn't know how to drive, even though I haven't gotten an accident. But boy, trying to learn how to run a carrier while learning how to drive, I don't know how some people do it. But I could have made a whole bunch of money. Geez, I probably would have been rich. Like one of the guys I talked to that I used to work with, he jokes about it more than me because I really love my family. I think he's a little less in that camp. I'll just say that. But he, in some ways, comes off as he resents having a family because of how much money he could have. But I don't know. Even though there's drawbacks that I can't talk about on this channel at all. But if I'm in some other lives or you ask me personally, I could tell you some drawbacks. But suffice to say, there's no drawback of having a family that I've went through that makes me regret having a family. Hey, Will Burner's in the house. Hey, Will Burner. Hey, I'm finally able to pay attention to YouTube for a while. What's going on tonight, folks? Well, I already talked about all the discounts that I got. So not a whole lot. I think you probably get pretty good fuel discounts through your carrier. But for me, it's just basically the fuel apps, and I got one TCS card that I might be canceling. We'll see. I got to find a decent fuel card that fits my business, I suppose, because I just don't want credit. Sterling, I edit a lot on my phone as well. Really? What do you use on your phone? Do you got to pay for it? I just got a freeware program on my computer, and Shotcut. That's what it's called. I got Shotcut on the computer, and I don't have an issue with that, but I haven't found anything on the phone. Sterling, Wilburner is here. Wilburner, yeah. Wilburner Express. If I was a single guy with no wife and kids, I would live in the truck and would have been a millionaire 15 years ago. Yeah, no kidding. I don't regret my family, though. But trust me, I've thought about that a lot, too. Oh, skip. Wilburner, Canadian carriers don't get as good at discounts as the U.S. guys do. Well, can you use Mudflap? Can you use like some of the fuel apps, or can you get your own fuel card for the States? I mean, here I got TCS. I'm not selling them at all. Like, I've gotten better fuel discounts through the fuel apps for the past, well, ever since January. But you could definitely use the fuel apps. I don't see why you couldn't. Sterling, Power Director. Oh, that's the program? Power Director. That's on your phone? I'll have to come back to that. That would help, because I just don't have anything to edit while I'm on the road. That's the bigger reason why I was thinking about getting a laptop. Well, that and for these streams, because I would like to be able to screen share some stuff. That's kind of what fell apart about the whole live stream I had a few times ago, where I couldn't screen share, like, even photos. I don't know why StreamYard doesn't let you screen share your phone, but they don't. Sterling, Will, I pay a lot. Well, it shows. I mean, your content is top notch. Like, you have really good videos, so you pay a lot, but you're definitely good at editing. You know what you're doing. I'm still kind of learning. Geez, like, I knew more how to edit videos back when I was in college than I do now. I've lost so much of that knowledge. I wish I still had it. Granted, back then I had Adobe Premiere, and I know that's a really good program. CB, in 2 years, I can retire. I'm leaning towards it. But then again, I may just keep ripping off miles until they take away my medical card. Yeah. I seen plenty do that. I know when I was at FedEx Freight, they had to make a guy retire. Yeah, I think it was kind of low what they did. He was in his 70s. He probably should have retired by then, but he was in his 70s, and I think they wouldn't get rid of him because maybe they thought he was too much of a liability. He had accidents, but just not recent at the time. FedEx actually went back. I couldn't believe they did this, but FedEx actually went back and threw a piece of paper on the table, and he was on the phone with like 3 different hotshots in corporate, one of them being safety, with our service center manager. And most of his accidents were like blowouts. Yeah, FedEx considers those incidents. blowouts, deer strikes, like all these accidents that weren't his fault. He did have some that were his, but they were long ago, relatively. Like they were not in the recent 1 or 2 years. But for whatever reason, he was in an incident like right before this, but it was this car pulled out and he T-boned him at a stoplight. They ran the stoplight. We had cameras at FedEx. They looked at the dash cam. He had a green light. The car had a red light, but that's what caused them to make him retire. And I thought that was pretty low. But yeah, they forced him to retire, and he didn't want to retire. He actually ended up hustling, working out of the terminal for another year or two before he actually fully retired. I don't know. Like I assume he's just one of those guys that want to work till they die, which that's what you want to do. If you're safe, I don't have a problem with that. Oscar DM, all the money in the world is pretty much useless if you can't spend it and do things that you enjoy. Too many people are too caught up in making all this money and no plan to spend it. Amen to that. I mean, I think I said it already, but $4,000 a week, that covers my expenses and leaves me enough to pay myself. One other thing I recommend, I don't know if you guys do it, do whatever you want. What suits me, I pay myself a salary. Same salary. If I drive, which I don't drive this much, but if I drove 3,000 in 1 week, I get paid the same as if I take the whole week off. I do that. It's easier to budget. That's the way I do it. I like it. It seems like it makes it easier to manage money for the business. Sterling Will, never park your truck unattended around a Canadian. Oh, I know. Yeah, if you got cats that you had a litter of cats and you try to pawn them off on this Canadian, I think we're talking about the same Canadian. You try to pawn them off on this Canadian, he won't come over the border, or he won't tell you where he's coming over the border. Now I'm stuck with 4 cats. Well, 5 cats, I guess. 4 kittens and a cat. Will Burner, when are you getting my cats? Oscar T, time is one thing you can never get more of. Must use it wisely. I agree with that. I mean, this will probably get a little religious for you guys, but I've been listening to a podcast, and it's helped me a lot. Like, I'm to the point where if I could live another day or 1,000 days or till I'm 70, I'm happy either way. I'm ready to go whenever he's ready to call me up, or if I live till I'm 100, I'm fine with that too. Rig Pig, 55 and over at Denny's. Oh, for the senior discount? There you go. There's another discount. I'm a little ways away from that. I got at least another 20 years. Wilburn, we can't use Mudflap. We can apply and get Flying J and Loves cards, and that's about it. I could use Comdata and TCS cards as well. I don't understand why you can't use Mudflap. There must be a reason. Is it because it's Canadian money? Can you not get a credit card? Can you not get a credit card in US dollars and apply it to Mudflap? There's probably a reason that's obvious that I'm not thinking of. That sucks. Mudflap has really good discounts. Like, I don't know. They're literally the one I use the most. You could try Truck Smarter. They also got comparable discounts. Maybe they'll let you guys use it or sign up for it with Canadian money. Will Burner, I have siphoning hose ready to go at a moment's notice, Sterling. Yeah, he does too. He was talking about that a minute ago. Will Burner, in this business on YouTube, we hear a lot about how much people make per week, blah, blah, blah. What we don't hear about is how people are preparing for retirement. Yes, I agree with that completely. That is one thing I'm working on. I used to say, when I was a company driver, I used to save a lot of money towards retirement. I paused it. I really need to get back into that. I agree with that one more than you can imagine. I'm working on that. But right now, I'll be honest, I don't feel comfortable putting it in a retirement account just in case what this economy does. Because already, like I'm still making a profit. Like I said, I'm more profitable this year than I was last year, but I'm still not getting enough of a margin to feel comfortable about putting X amount of money into retirement. Plus, like, we got, what is it, like 6,000 a year? Because I want to open up, I have a Roth IRA open, but I want to start contributing to that because that's supposed to be the best retirement account that you could get here in the United States. Wilburn, because of the Canadian conversion, and there is a certain U.S. app that are not downloadable by Canadian phones. Huh. That sucks. There has, like, what if you use a U.S. Well, I guess you still got the Canadian. There's got to be a way around it. Can a Canadian open an account in U.S.? I don't know. I'd be trying to find some way around it because I kid you not, like the fuel apps, I get better discounts on them. You have to be getting better discounts through your carrier though. Like maybe you're not getting as good of discounts as like Schneider drivers are. I'd be surprised if you're not getting better discounts than what I could get. CB, slip a line cook at Denny's a pack of smokes and he'll give you 5-pound bag of frozen hash browns allegedly. Hey, I like that idea. I used to have an in contact for Ruby Tuesday. They sell discount food that they order for their line. That guy doesn't work at Ruby Tuesdays anymore, but not for that reason. But yeah, they would actually sell you stuff that they get right off the truck, like not cooked, and it's a good discount and good food. Rig Pig, that's good. That's good to know, CB. Thank you. That is good to know. I don't like Denny's though. Their food price, like if you could get the food before it's cooked, that probably would save you quite a bit of money. Wilbur, hey, your retirement fund the same way you pay your maintenance fund. For example, I pay my maintenance fund 11 cents per mile every week. I pay my retirement fund 5 cents a mile every week. That's a good idea. Like I said, once this market recovers, I'm definitely going to start doing that. I got money saved up. Once the market recovers, I'll probably literally take some of my savings that I already have, put it right into a Roth IRA, and then I'll just have to talk to my accountant exactly how I show that. I know it'll be income, but that's what I'll do. Sterling Will, it's wise to build your wealth by hiding money from yourself. Yeah, that I agree with that. Hide it from your wife too. I won't get into that. Sterling Will, I'd eat fresh cat food before Denny's. Yeah, I've had Denny's once. Not big on it. Will Burner, with my Comdata card, my company can get 12 cents off in the US and 70 cents off a liter off in Canada. With my TCS, it's about the same. Well, right now, that's, I guess, all right. But when the fuel starts going down, shoot, I get $1 off sometimes. Wilburn, I thought he was going to say I've eaten cat food once. I wasn't big on it. Oh, I've heard stories from my grandpa before he died about eating cat or dog food during the Depression. I mean, got to do what you got to do sometimes. I can't believe it's only 12 or 17 cents off. Dang. You have a TCS card though. You must be right. It must. Oh, credit. I'm using the same phone that I'm using the hotspot from. All right. I don't know if you want to do this, Will Burner. If you do, just give a random, or actually, I'll just give a random one. We'll go to Syracuse, New York. I got the TCS one up, and I'll tell you what discount I could get near Syracuse, New York. Let's see. Because I'm curious now if this thing shows the same as what you could get. Because I got that TCS as well. So in New York, Syracuse, New York. It says it's a 36-cent discount at the Famco 7 truck stop. It shows a retail price of $465.9, and I could get it for $20 per gallon. I don't know if it. Dang it! I clicked something. Does that show up? But that truck stop, get it for $4.29 a gallon. I don't know. That's a Famco 7 truck stop. Will Burner, I look at some of the food that Darlene feeds our cats, and they eat better than we do sometimes. Oh, I know. Like, we give our cat canned food, and that, I ain't gonna lie, some of that canned food actually looks pretty decent. There's a Flying J, Syracuse, New York. Yeah, here. Oh, is yours that Flying J's? Because on this TCS, mine's mostly TAs and stuff. Yeah, that one was a Famco 7 truck stop. I don't know if you could see it on your app, but I'm just curious if even through TCS if you get different discount. Because, like I said, this one's 36 cents off per gallon in Syracuse. Sterling Will, I gotta lay down and enjoy some drugs. You kids have a good night, make money. Hug lot lizards carefully. Well, Sterling, you don't gotta worry about me doing that. I'm in Iowa. I'll probably be hugging more truck drivers than I will any lot lizards here. Even though I bet some lot lizards can make some good money. There's probably 40 or 50 trucks here waiting to get loaded. Never mind the ones in the docks already. Yeah, it's going to be a late night for me. I'll be driving overnight. Shoot, I'll probably be driving when Will Burner's getting up to go on his run. But I'm curious, are you able to load up your app? Because I'm curious if the TCS is even different for you. Because TCS, in my experience, at least comes close. Here, I wonder. I probably don't got enough truck stops between me and where I got fuel. I'm going to see. I got fuel for $3.79 on Mudflap in Iowa. Yeah. Here $3.90 a gallon is what TCS would have had. That's one reason I used Mudflap. But let's see if I were to go my whole trip for today, what the cheapest would have been. $3.83 a gallon. So, yeah, $3.83 a gallon. Looks like that would have been the cheapest if I would have used TCS. At least on route. I could have gone out of route and got the same discount on TCS. No, that would have been more because that would have been a Missouri fuel stop. Yeah. So $3.83 would have been the cheapest. And one other thing, since I use a credit card that gets 1.5% back, so you take 1.5% times 3.79, and it's more than 5 cents a gallon off. So, and you get that in the cashback rewards. So that's one of the reasons I use Mudflap or the fuel apps, because you could charge it to a credit card and just get that money back. Wilburn, I just got home from Iowa. I delivered in Cedar Rapids yesterday morning. I was in Iowa City. Well, today though. Iowa City. I go to Iowa City quite a bit. I ain't going to tell you where, but well, I could tell you. You're not competition. But suffice to say, Iowa City is where I deliver for one of the brokers that I work with. It works out well so far. And that's actually the broker that keeps bugging me. Hey, you got another truck? Or hey, you want to be in this area on this day? Which I don't mind. But Tipton, Iowa. Dang, I didn't even know there was a Tipton, Iowa. I got fuel in Tipton, Iowa for $3.89 a gallon. Where in the world is Tipton, Iowa? I mean, granted, this is going to be a different day, but there doesn't even show it. Oh, it must not be on this. Yeah, there's not. Oh, you do a lot of Des Moines and Cedar. Dude, we're going to end up meeting up one day. Wilburn, I do a lot of Des Moines and Cedar Rapids. I'm up in this area more than you think. Like I said, one of the customers for the broker that I work with, I go up to Iowa City, go to Des Moines some. There was actually a load I was trying to get that would have picked up in Cedar Rapids the other day, but the broker wouldn't answer the phone or emails. Well, since we're talking about that, one other critique I get is, why do you use a dispatcher? Well, here, the vast majority of the loads I book, I do myself. I do it with the brokers that I already got a relationship with. They will email me whenever they have loads going, like either back to Missouri or up to Iowa or whatever. And they'll email me, hey, do you got a truck? And maybe they're not, and I'm taking it cheap, but I seriously think that I'm getting it for a better rate than what someone just randomly could calling up that they haven't worked with before. They know that I'll get the job done. I do think maybe I get a better rate, maybe not. To me, that is kind of getting in the weeds, because either way, they keep me busy. And I'm working for more than $2 a mile, which, granted, short haul, you should, but it's getting to the point where even short haul is suffering. But this fuel needs to come down. It needs to come down, but it probably won't. It'll probably be like this until it stars out quite a few carriers. Thankfully, I'm not in that spot yet. Gotcha. I didn't know I was right there. Thank you. Dang, it's right. There's a Tipton, Missouri. When you said Tipton, it's immediately I can't get. I used to drive through a Tipton, Missouri every day on the way to college. But wow, I would not have guessed there was a Tipton, Missouri. Well, y'all got any other topics y'all want to talk about? I think I done did all the. I'd really like to know if y'all got better discount programs on anything. What do you all got for discounts that I haven't talked about? Talked about all the 5 different fuel discount programs I got: Trucker Path, Relay, Truck Smarter, Mud Flat, fuel apps, and then TCS for fuel card. Which, as I said earlier, I'm looking into some other fuel card. I'm going to check out what Cash promoted. As I said earlier, I didn't use TVS Pro Driver, whatever it is, because they had a credit line. I don't like credit. But I'll check into this EFS because I like the idea of getting discounts on repairs on the road. Wilburn, you got a text message from me. I have a new number, but I sent you a picture. Yeah, I saw it. That's what I was looking at just a minute ago. I never knew there was a Tipton in Iowa. That's crazy. Yeah, it ain't far away from. Yeah. Wilburn, let's talk cocaine and strippers. Well, shoot, you'll have to join my OnlyFans for that. Don't you know that? That's where we talk about that. Oh, I don't have anything else. If you all got something else, go ahead and say. Otherwise, I'll probably end it here in a minute. Does anyone want to come in? If someone wants to come in and say something, I'll throw you a link. Last time I did that, I had trouble figuring out how to even do it. Greg Pick, my ex-oil lady used to give me a 5-finger discount. Talk about embarrassing. Yeah, that would be. That would be. So this program, even though I don't get kickback for it, is brought to you by Fuelox. Sometimes I really think the reason this truck has survived as well is because I use those Fuelox products. It's probably just me thinking, but it could. Wilburn, blah. Wilbur, I'm just about done for the night. I'm gonna watch some Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3 and probably fall asleep halfway through it because I'm old. Oh, y'all forgot to remind me about the battery APU. Wilbur, I'm glad you're in here because I've been talking bad about Freightliner and I kind of owe them an apology. So Freightliner, I'm sorry. It was not you. It's a dealership. So my battery APU, I got good news. I should have done this months ago. I think it was June or May whenever I released a video about basically my Park Smart system being shot. And I was so irritated because I was told by the dealership that there's one part that failed. He said AC compressor failed and it's in the cabinet and it's like soldered to the board or whatever. It's soldered in there, and the only way to fix my system is to buy a whole new system. Obviously, that's not feasible. The system would cost $8,000 or $7,000 plus labor. Well, yesterday, and I didn't have time to do any more checking on this or research, but yesterday I called up another Freightliner dealership, different. You know what? I'll even say the Premier Truck Group is the one that told me this. Said it's the AC compressor. You've got to get a new system. I'm never working with that dealership again, other than buy parts. And the only reason I'm even using them to buy parts is because they're the closest one that I could get to. But I'm never taking my truck there for service again. I'm going to go further out of my way to go to this other dealership. This guy told me, and this is a parts guy. He's like, "Oh, Sterling already left." He's the one that told me this. So the parts guy said, it's probably your evaporator. There's no AC compressor in your Park Smart system. I was like, what do you mean? Because the only thing wrong with my Park Smart system is it does not blow cold air. Everything works on it. It's got that S-bar bunk heater. That even works. It blows air like really hard. Like it works. And when that thing worked, the air conditioning worked, I mean, it'll freeze you out back there. I mean, shoot, I had to turn it up a few notches to keep it from freezing me out overnight. And even with bad batteries, it was lasting probably 7 hours. Which, yeah, that's not a full 10-hour break, but that was also with worn out batteries. Probably would last 10 hours now that I got the new batteries in. But anyways, I called up another dealership, and he said, it's probably your evaporator. And I kid you not, Sterling on one of my videos talking about it, he's like, you need to check your evaporator. So, yeah, suffice to say, I'm going to take it to another dealership. It's a different dealership group. And I went there once because the truck had issues. I had a bad experience, I ain't going to lie, but they made it up to me. So I think it was a miscommunication more than anything. So I'm giving them another chance. Like, I went there to get my, it wasn't the NOx sensor, SCR sensor. I had a new one, brought it to them, told them, install this, please. And there was some kind of miscommunication. They thought I wanted them to diagnose it, even though I already knew it was SCR sensor. They diagnosed it, put the truck back on the lot. And then I go back down there because I see my truck sitting out on the lot. Like, hey, what are you guys doing? Hey, it's a SCR sensor. You need that replaced. So I'm like, I know. I told you guys that. It's sitting in the truck. Oh, we didn't know that. So they bring it back in. Long story short, I ended up getting charged like $1,500. And that was because they had that diagnostic fee plus labor for the diagnostic. Like, it was ridiculous. I called and complained, left bad review on them. I was mad because I went there and said, just replace the sensor. Well, somehow that didn't get communicated or whatever. But the manager for that location actually called me. He's like, hey, explain the whole situation and refunded me and only charging me like $700. I'm like, look, I'm not going to complain about paying $700 for you guys to replace the sensor because you all are a dealership. Yeah, I could have got it done probably for $300 by my guy, but I would have had to wait. And this is something that had to be replaced right now. I expect to pay a little bit of a premium at a dealership versus my mechanic I got back where I operate out of. So I'm going to give them another chance. They said that they could actually look it over and probably replace it. The parts guy said most likely it's the evaporator, like Sterling said on that comment, which I wish I would have listened to him. And he said that pretty much everything in the Part Smart system is replaceable. Like, there's no reason why you have to replace the whole dang system, like Premier Truck Group tried to tell me, which I don't know. There's probably nothing I could do, but I am going to go by Premier Truck Group, get that invoice, and take it over to this other dealership when I drop the truck off, which who knows when I'm even going to be able to, because I'm trying to work. I work pretty much through the week. I don't know. Who knows? By the time I'm probably able to drop the truck off and sacrifice a few days, it'll probably be cold anyways. I don't know. It's right now, I got assist. I don't know if you can see it. Don't laugh. I got. Yeah, you won't be able to see it. I got a portable AC in here, and that's keeping me cold. Like, not right now. I don't got it hooked up. But I have to put the vent out the window, and I don't have that put in there yet. But that works for now. It's oversized, I found out. So the truck only lasts, like, the batteries only last 5 hours with that thing. It's oversized for the truck. And obviously it's going through an inverter, so there's losses. Wheel burner. Premier Freightliner is horrible. Stay away from it. I have a feeling some of the issues that you had at dealerships were from them. I've heard some of your stories. Yeah, I didn't know that. Like, they were just the ones closest to me, but no, never again. Premier Truck Group, I'll buy parts from them because they're close, but I'm not getting work done because they also replaced the starter for me and forgot to put the dang alternator cable back on the starter. And I drive it back, and I'm getting low battery, so I have to drive it straight back to the dealership. Like, what in the world did y'all do? I'd found out when I got it back to the dealership, crawled under the truck, and saw the dang alternator cable, electric cable that's running to the starter, just hanging, not connected to it. Wheel burner. Hey, Donnie, it's probably just your evaporator, just in case you didn't hear from Sterling or the parts guy. Now you just heard it the third time. Yeah, I explained what it does. So I bet yours does the same thing. So obviously, whenever you start the Park Smart or whatever it's called in yours, you hear a thump. Well, that's the battery isolator. And then if you listen closely, at least in mine, and I bet it's the same in yours, Wheel burner, if you listen closely in the cabinet area, you'll hear a much quieter but still noticeable sound whenever the air conditioner kicks on. From what the parts guy explained to me, in my system, it uses the same AC compressor for the truck as it does for the bunk. But there's an evaporator in the ParkSmart system that's isolated from the truck, which, I don't know, that's getting technical for me, and I don't understand why it wouldn't use the same, but for some reason it does. But if it's just the evaporator, he said, yeah, we could replace that. That's a separate part. We could easily replace that. So it sounds like I will get air conditioning back in the truck, other than this big, huge portable AC I got sitting right on the floor. It works though, but it's not ideal. It's oversized. It cuts the battery down. Like, it doesn't harm the batteries, but like where that system on bad batteries was lasting 7 hours, this thing lasts 5 on fresh new batteries. And in order to get the whole sleeper cooled, you still have to run the ParkSmart system, which is probably part of the reason it only gets 5 hours. So it just, I don't know. It's not ideal. I'll put it that way. Because I found out if I just run the portable AC, the bottom part of the sleeper is cold, like freezing cold. The top part is super hot, which I guess doesn't matter because I only got one bunk or bed in here, but still, it's not ideal. Snorlord's in the house. What's a Freightliner? Well, it's a truck that you get really good fuel economy in. I don't know. I'm a Freightliner guy. I know you're not, but I got a sour taste from the Kenworth. I do like Peterbilt's. I'll give you that. I love Peterbilt's 579s. They're actually my favorite truck, but I'm all for fuel economy. And I was able to get 10 miles per gallon out of my truck. Granted, they're light loads, so I'm sticking with Freightliner. Granted, the next Freightliner I get, I'll have a Detroit. DIY Semi, howdy. Hey, DIY. Royalties in the house. DIY Semi, Freightliner is money. Yeah, well, I'm going to do something. I don't know if you're in here, DIY, but I'm going to do an experiment. And it'll probably blow up in my face. But I am going to give Super Singles on the drives a try. And maybe on the trailer. But definitely on the I'm going to give it a try on the tractor. And I'm just going to have tools to be able to replace. Like, I'm going to have a jack and tools to take the Super Single off. And I'm going to have a spare one on the trailer underneath. We'll see how it goes. It's probably going to blow up in my face, but I'm going to give it a try. I'll try and save as much money on fuel as I can. We'll see. Wilburn, no DIY. A Freightliner is a printing press to make money. Please correct yourself. I agree with that. Wilburn, I get 12 hours out of a fully charged batteries using my ParkSmart. Wow. And that's probably with good batteries. Yeah, because this truck, it had, like, I think the batteries were like 4 years old, maybe 5, that I took out of the truck. So whenever I first got this truck, they were already 2 years old. So I don't even know how long my ParkSmart would actually last on full brand new batteries. DIY Freightliner's the ATM machine. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, almost feel like not ending it now. DIY's in the house. But I don't know. Those were my DIY. So I found out, I don't know if you watched my video about the my ParkSmart smart system and how mad I was. You can disregard that. It was on the dealership. I'll just put it that way. Like, everything on the ParkSmart, from what I'm told, can be parted out. They have replacement parts for it. So my truck is the 2020 and I'm still using original battery. Oh, wow. AGM, I take it? That's what I got in mine. I put new AGMs in mine and they've been working real well. Like, I haven't had an issue with it. I do got a huge inverter though, because I'll probably put the old inverter back in. I had a 1500 watt inverter before that came with the truck. I got a 3000 watt or 5,000. I think it's 5,000 peak, 3,000 continuous. And I have to have that for this. So that might also be part of the reason that batteries don't last as well. I know that ParkSmart is a DC AC, so you don't have the loss of the inverter because it's using DC power anyways. Oscar DM's super singles are a giant waste of money. They are super hard to find if you go on out and you're dead in the water if you have a flat or a leaking one. Yes, I thought of that, and that's why bare minimum I want to have a spare already mounted on my trailer before I switch to super singles completely. Like, I'm not running super singles without a spare with the wheel already with me. Like, I want to get a carriage that goes underneath the trailer and it'll have a spare super single in there. And if I have the issue, I mean, as long as it doesn't take out 2 tires, I guess I'm dead in water if it takes out 2 tires. But that's what I'm going to do. And this is an experiment. I'm experimenting. I wouldn't say I've been against super singles. Been very skeptical of them. I am debating on even keeping them on in the wintertime. That's the biggest concern I have with them. I have less concern with them blowing because I'm not going to get Chinese tires. But in the wintertime, I am concerned about the traction. So we'll see how it goes in the wintertime. I might actually switch back to the duals during the wintertime. If I do, that's fine, because even if I just run it 9 months out of the year, that still saves money as long as I don't have serious issues with them. Will Burner, I run a 3,500 watt inverter. You probably got the same as me then. Yeah, because I think mine's like, it's something like, unless that's peak. I don't know how they measure inverters. I know mine's like 5,000 peak and 3,000 or something continuous. Oscar, those sidewalls also roll over on themselves when you make turns, so they cause a lot of extra slippage in winter driving. Yes, that's one big thing that I've thought of. That's part of the reason I'm getting them on the drives first, because most of that would be on the trailers, I'm assuming. And I'm debating on the trailers. I'm not sure, but I'm going to try them on the drives first before I even think of the trailers. DIY semi. I'm getting rid of all the singles. I'm getting rid of the singles on all my trailers. Tired of the problems. Yeah, I could see that, because I have heard if you jackknife, it could damage the super singles somehow, I guess, because you got 2 tires with duals, like being able to take that force of the jackknife, whereas you got just the one big tire. I have thought about that too. Will Burner, all of our trailers have super singles. I don't mind pulling them, but I don't want one on my truck. I don't like the way they perform in the snow, and they have a tendency to hydroplane. Well, I can see that because there's less surface area. The wintertime, like I said, I probably will take them off in the wintertime because that is one of my big concerns. But the other 9 months out of the year, if I could get away with the super singles and get better fuel economy, I'm for that. Snorlord, I don't recommend supers. I've had some. I know. That concern that you brought up to me, like if one blows. Yeah, it's going to be an experiment. I don't know. It might be a bad experiment. We'll see. I do know it kind of is leaning your way, because I did find out just by looking online, it is pretty easy to find them used, like especially the wheels. You get like on eBay or some of these other websites, you can literally pick up a full set, and granted they're not brand new, but you could get a full set of super singles for like $50 a piece or $100 a piece with the tire on it. So, well, not a full set, like it's per tire, so like $400 or $500 or $250 to $500. So you're probably right, but I want to try it just for one time. I do kind of want to see what kind of fuel economy I get. I don't know. I'm still waiting to get good quotes on the super single tires. Anyways, the lady gave me quotes, but she didn't give them through Sierra England. She didn't give me quotes on super singles. She gave them for duals, even though I told her I was wanting quotes for super singles. DIY, every one of mine had bad wear patterns. I didn't know that. I've never used super singles before or even had them on my equipment. I know when I was at Rail and Brand New, some of their trucks had them, but none of the trucks I ever drove had super singles. The only truck I ever drove that had super singles, it was at FedEx Freight. They had it on the dolly, and it was like a unicorn trying to find a dolly with the super singles. And I used to use them because it's easy to turn the dolly. Like you could literally hold the dolly with one finger and push it around in a circle. Whereas like with duals, you had to be moving the dolly just to turn it. But I never noticed any of that with those, but granted, we didn't have very many at FedEx. Wheel burner, if you jackknife a super single, you will rip the tire off the rims. I think that's what I've heard. So, like I said, that's one reason I'm debating on the trailer. The truck, I don't think you'd have that concern you because you wouldn't have the force on it on the drives as you would on the trailer. Wheel burner, the company I'm leased on to did a 12-month comparison between duals and singles, and the fuel mileage was negligible. I don't know if you're in here. The reason I'm even thinking about this is, and maybe this is still an issue with the super singles. I was wanting the better fuel economy. I'm still doing research on it, but I'm very disappointed in the Michelins. I got the best Michelins they have for duals as far as lowest rolling resistance. And maybe they did give me better fuel economy, but I kid you not. Like, I have obviously 8 duals. 6 of them are the Michelin, like the lowest rolling resistance, also the high dollar ones. And 2 are, I think they're Yokohamas. The Yokohamas look like they're brand new tires after a year. The Michelins, all 6 of them already need to be replaced here pretty soon. Within the next month or 2, I need to replace them. So I'm not too happy about that. Maybe I'd be better off just doing duals that, I guess, Yokohama. I need to compare, I guess, the dual low rolling resistance. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still thinking about it. I'm seriously leaning towards super singles and just having a full spare under the trailer. But I don't know. I'm trying to compare through the phone on the low rolling resistance calculator that Michelin has, but I'm not finding a lot of the tires on there. Snorler OG, super singles will make you act like a prime driver. Might as well get a red button while you're at it. Snorler, one blowout will negate any savings. I could see that. Wilburn agrees, Snorlord. I could see that. I know I've heard that if you blow out a super single, it could ruin the rim. So I don't know. I need to get the quotes on it because I emailed my Sierra England lady yesterday, and she got me 2 quotes, and both of them were for duals for a trailer tire. Even though I told her I was wanting quotes for super single on drives, and she gave me quotes for trailer tires. And granted, one of the quotes she gave me was for the same trailer tires I got on the trailer whenever I got the trailer brand new, and that ain't bad. I've been happy with those tires. They've lasted 2 years, over 2 years. I replaced one because one, did it blow? No, it wore out so much. But other than that, DIY red button trauma. Wilburn DIY, have you pushed that red button yet? DIY, yes. But have you pushed it on Saturday at 6 p.m.? Do not do that, I've heard. You do not want to press that at 6 o'clock on Saturday. Wilburner, No, nothing horrible happened to you? Snore alert. Imagine blowing a single on a 2-lane road with no show. Yeah, I do quite a few 2-lane roads too. That is one of my concerns. DIY, I emailed you B2B pricing. I must be B2B pricing. I have no clue what that means. Oh, is that comparison between duals and... Oh, okay. I'm looking at it now, DIY. I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. So you're not really saving money on the tire. Truckers B2B tires. I've not heard of this company. Huh. Okay. So you're not saving money on the tires. The tires are basically the same price because it looks like they're almost, well, not quite, but they're pretty close to double to the dual. It's a dual tire. I'm still looking into it. I'm leaning towards trying out super singles at least on drive. I'm not completely sold on it yet. Either way, I'm not getting the same Michelin tires I got. Like they were probably the most expensive tires I could have got. And I don't know, I probably did save money on fuel, but they wore out so fast. DIY semi. I guess you don't watch my video. I do. Which video was it? I know in your videos you have been talking about you're removing the super singles, but I thought in one of your videos, I thought in one of your videos in your shop you had a stack of super singles. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I thought for sure in that video there were a stack of super singles. Snore alert, singles are good for tankers. Yes, I can see that because of the weight. I don't really have the concern with weight nearly as much. Obviously, driving, the trailer doesn't weigh a whole lot. And I got a right weight scale, so I'm even less concerned with weight. Granted, I want to get one for the trailer, but I haven't had the need for it yet. This one for the truck has worked so well. I'm able to just get it matched up pretty good on the truck, and I know I'm legal. Plus, in all honesty, I don't go buy a whole lot of scales on the route I'm on. Or the ones I do go by, a lot of times they're closed by the time I go by. Wilburner Express, the Michelin, do you have any that XD and 2? No, they're X-Line Energy. Michelin X-Line Energy, I think, is what they're called. I believe. I know they're when I bought them last year, anyways, they were the lowest rolling resistance and also most expensive that Michelin sold, even with the tire discount. Granted, one other thing, I think the tire shop that I use, they might be selling the Michelins there. I think now they're a Bridgestone dealership or tire, whatever. I haven't had much negative to say about Bridgestone. They've been pretty good. Supposedly, according to, if this could be trusted, the tool on the Michelin website has them as having quite a bit higher rolling resistance. But that could be just them trying to make theirs look better. Wilburner, sorry, my typing is sloppy. I'm falling asleep in my chair. I'm surprised you haven't already fallen asleep to me talk. I mean, you all are the experts here. There's a reason why, right? Oh, it's right there. This is hard to do. You see that down there, the white? Your solo authority novice. I don't know anything. I just talk like I do. But y'all really got me considering it. I had a feeling, or Wilburner, I had a feeling y'all would talk me out of it. I'm still going to think about it. I don't know, because You know, Snorler brought up a good point. That's not it. I think it was Snorler. Yeah. That is one of my biggest concerns. I do quite a few 2-lane highways, especially. I mean, there's one highway I'm on. Well, I won't say where because it'd give away where I'm out of. But there's one 2-lane highway I'm on that doesn't even have lines on it. That is truck legal. It doesn't have lines on it. And whenever you come up to a farm truck, because I guarantee you not that there are no over-the-road trucks that go on this road. When you come up to a farm truck, you better get down to about 30 or 20 miles an hour or else y'all are hitting mirrors. So that is one concern I have. I don't know. I'm doing more research on it. What DIY sent, though, I thought for sure the tires would have been cheaper. Like getting a set of duals is going to be close to the same price as getting super singles. I don't know. We'll see. I'm doing more research on it. I need to find, if you all know a good website, I need to find a website that I actually trust that has the rolling resistance on there. But right now, if I had to get new tires, I'd probably get the Yokohamas that I have on the drive. I got 2 Yokohamas on the drive because I blew one of the drive tires and I went ahead and replaced 2, so I had 2 new on the same side, and used one of them as just a spare. So, Snorlord, it's okay. Don, I told everyone you're out of North Dakota. No wonder they are trying to figure out why I'm doing short haul and how I'm being so successful on it. Gee, Snorlord. I know you're just joking. But hey, I'm probably going to end it here. Probably take a nap because it's going to be, they told me it's going to be 10 o'clock before I even get put into the dock. So maybe I get a nap and get woke up by a phone call here in a bit. We'll see. But thank you guys for joining. Y'all got me thinking for sure. Maybe it wouldn't be worth it for the super singles because it is getting close to winter. But I'd really like to try it just to see what the fuel economy difference is. That's a big reason I tried it. But Wilburn, you say that your company didn't get much better, but at the same time, DIY said his fuel economy really went down in his truck, but his was also a prime truck, and maybe they were doing 55 miles an hour. I don't know. But I'm going to end it here. Y'all have a good night. Wilburn's going to sleep too. Wilburn, why don't you go ahead and text me or call me in the morning? I'll be driving most likely. Like I said, they aren't even going to get me loaded in a dock, they said, until 10 o'clock, which is 11 o'clock your time. So if you want to give me a call, or I'll text you whenever I'm on the road. But other than that, I'm going to end it here. Thank you all for joining. I can't believe I got royalty in the house. Wilburner, Snorlord, DIY, and the only one missing is Fate. But y'all have a good night. And remember, use that code for DIY Semi for $50. Highly recommend it. Another thing I got rolling down there in their ticker is there is hope. If you're ever going through something, needed a year, shoot, just leave a comment and I'll get in contact with you. But remember, there's hope and keep the shiny side up. I'll see y'all in the next one.